Yo, what's good, meatheads? Hope you're having an amazing day, and welcome to another episode of the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's your boy, the returning champion, IFBB Pro, Matt Battalion. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you how I grew almost over 80 pounds of mostly muscle naturally. Okay, so if you are a skinny motherfucker, if you're somebody that wants to put on some muscle and do it naturally without steroids, without SARMs, without any of those drugs to fuck up your life, again, it doesn't really fuck up your life. It's just something that you might not want to do. I personally choose not to do it. Then this is the episode for you. All right. So I want to remind you guys just before we get into this, if you do get value from this podcast or any content that I put out, anything that I do, please don't forget to like, share, and comment on this podcast or leave a review to show your support. It really does go a long way. Again, I wouldn't be able to do this without y'all. All right. So show me some love if you actually do appreciate this. And let's get on right on into this, guys. Let's talk about today's topic as I set up over here on the live stream. Okay, yeah, we're good there. All right. So, guys, let me tell you what it took to build an IFBB Pro level physique without steroids. Okay, this is something that you want to listen to if you struggle to build muscle and you want to build muscle without taking drugs. Okay, disclaimer, I'm not saying that if you follow every single thing that I say here that you'll magically turn pro or even that you'll get the same results. I'm not saying that because I am aware that genetics do play a huge role and that they're a major component when it comes to the amount of muscle you're able to build. Okay, so what I can guarantee though is if you follow this episode and listen to the instructions or mimic some of the things that I do in this episode, what I can guarantee is that you will more than likely put on more muscle than you ever have in your fucking life. And that's a fact. Okay? That's a fact. All right. So let's get on into it. Let's talk about how I gained nearly over 80 pounds of mostly muscle since the start of my fitness journey. All right. So the first thing that we have to bring up, or the first thing that we have to address here, is we have to bring attention to our habits, our daily habits, because as you know, building muscle is a very repetitive process. Burning fat is a very repetitive process. You have to do things every single day consistently to total up to the amount of muscle you build or total up to the amount of fat that you burn. Make sense? I know we all understand that, but again, I'm just going to be obvious here, Captain Obvious, to let you know that habits are the fundamental, that's like the foundation of changing anything in your life, whether it's building muscle, burning fat, getting rich, getting smart, studying, all that stuff. Habits. It's all about habits. Okay, and speaking of habits, I didn't have the very best habits at the very beginning of my journey, much like you, right? It's probably why you're listening to this episode. You probably have shitty habits and you're trying to learn how to get better habits by listening to those that have done it. So honestly, pat yourself on the back because that's good on you. All right. I'm proud of you for actually taking action and looking for things, trying to learn new things to help you get to a position that aren't in and that you want to be in. All right. So shout out to you for that. You're fucking awesome for that. Okay. So when I was starting off, I was about 130 pounds soaking wet. I'm talking about like I was a skinny motherfucker, right? Like I prioritized video games. My habits consisted of mainly drugs, alcohol, and binge watching TV. And I was quite young too, to be honest with you. So I was like not in the best position. Okay. Sure, those of you that are advanced or intermediate lifters would say, well, being skinny for building muscle is ideal, because you're an ectomorph. And I don't disagree with you. However, I'm talking about habits here. You can have the best genetics, you can have the best, you know, predisposition and ability to build muscle, but if you don't have the habits, it means fuck all. Okay, so when I was 130 pounds, when I was skinny as shit, I'm talking about like skinny as a twig, man. I used to tuck in my shirt sleeves under my backpack. The sleeves of your backpack, not the sleeves. What do you call them? The straps of your backpack. I used to tuck them in and fold them so it made it look like I had bigger arms. I used to just fold up my t-shirt and just squeeze it into my armpit just to make it look like I had bigger arms. And if you've ever done this, whether you're skinny, whether you're fat, skinny fat, I doubt you do it if you're fat because your shit's already stretching. Anyway, I'm not trying to roast you, but let's keep it a stack. That's what we're here to do. All right, meaningful banter. It's a little bit funny, so I'm gonna laugh at it. But guys, I used to do that shit. and I really hated the way that I looked. Like, and if I ever did go to the gym at that time, because of all the bad habits that I had, I was extremely inconsistent, like very inconsistent as one could be. Completely opposite from what I am today. And I wasn't going there to even build muscle, you know? I wasn't. I was there to chase a pump and fill out my extra medium shirt. You know what I'm talking about? Like that's what I was there to do. I didn't really. I was reading the bodybuilding Bible. If you do know what that is, that's Arnold, the Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And you know, although I was scanning through it, I didn't really like pick up anything from it because I wasn't. I was just trying to look at cool pictures and to say, oh, I want to be like this guy. I want to be like that guy. I wasn't actually, reading, the pages. I was just scanning through it, right? And because of that, because I wasn't taking in any knowledge, I was just going there for the superficial reason of just trying to look a little bit bigger for a little bit longer, the pump effect, right? And that didn't take me far, but it did make me feel like I was doing something. And like the worst part about it is, after the workout, I'd go home and I'd eat literally whatever I wanted, thinking that it would help me bulk up. I'm talking about whatever I wanted. Like, I'll tell you what my go-to was. There's three fucking things to this day. The people that grew up with me will remember this. Number one was I used to go to, if you guys know the franchise Little Caesars, I used to go to Little Caesars and get a one box of a deep dish pizza. I would get a 2 liter Sprite, and then I get a bag of sour watermelon candies. And that's pretty much what I would have at the end of every gym workout. Of course, it didn't get me fat because I wasn't eating enough to begin with. I was 130 pounds, let's be honest with you. But that was just what I thought. If you're bulking, you got to have a dirty bulk. You got to like just eat food and, get full and stuff like that. Right. So that's what my approach was. That's what my mentality was at the very beginning of my fitness journey. Okay. Like I went into the gym, I think, for the very first time at around 11 years old. Yeah, around 11 years old. And then when I got to the point of, what I'm talking about now, I was, say, starting high school, you know, maybe 14 years old around there. Okay. My mom was quite active. She would go do her Zumba and all that stuff. And like, we'd do swimming lessons when we were kids, but that wasn't really like the gym. The actual gym was when I was sneaking in to the YMCA at 14 years old, because you had to be 16 to train by yourself. And then, I just go around and like do shit. And anyway, that's how the passion sort of developed. But outside of that, back on point, off the tangent, it didn't take me far. Going to the gym to get this pump and then going after the workout to eat whatever the fuck I wanted to think that it was going to help me bulk up. Like, and boy, oh boy, was I wrong, guys. Like, I had no clear idea of what to eat to grow muscle. And it's probably something that you struggle with right now if you're listening to this episode. Whether you want to burn fat, whether you want to build muscle, whether you want to do both at the same time. And yes, it's possible. You can definitely do that. If you want help to do that, you can reach out to me, DM me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, anywhere that you're seeing this. Okay, and I'll see if you'll be a good fit for the Natural Nomad Academy. We'll help you do it while eating clean 80% of the time and junk food 20% of the time. But outside of that, no more shameless plugs for a while at least. It's very possible to build muscle and burn fat at the same time. But regardless of what you want to do, you likely struggle with not knowing what to eat, because I did. At the very beginning of my journey, I did. Right? I had no clear idea of what to eat in order to grow muscle. And I thought I ate a lot, guys. And like, especially if you're one of those skinny guys or skinny fat guys that really want to get jacked, want to like, build your shoulders, cap to delts, a big chest, like you want to get jacked, right? And you're like, dude, I'm eating so fucking much, but I'm not growing. Like, what's going on? Like, I thought I ate a lot, guys. I really did think I ate a lot, but a lot is very relative to what you are or who you are and what you're doing, right? Especially if you aren't tracking anything, which of course you can probably assume I wasn't tracking. I was not tracking anything. I didn't know. I went off of the feeling of I ate too much. I went off of the visual that this plate looks full of rice. So I think that's a lot instead of actually measuring. Because guys, newsflash, you don't fucking eat a lot if you can't track it and know how much you're eating. Because that will tell you how much you're actually eating, not your eyes. Okay, and this goes for if you want to burn fat. Like you can say I've been cutting up my food. You know, I'm eating way less. Why aren't I burning fat? Like I'm in a calorie deficit. No, you're fucking not. Because if you were in a calorie deficit, you would be in a calorie deficit. So the point is that if you aren't tracking and if you aren't analyzing actual data, like look at your bank account. You don't say I have a lot of money. You say I have X amount of dollars and X amount of cents. Period. It's the numbers, guys. Okay, and then the numbers on the food scale translate to the numbers on the body weight scale. It's just what it is. Don't hate me. I'm the messenger. Okay, and I was in your position, which is why I'm telling you this shit. You have to be able to track what you're eating and know, and again, not just track, but accurately track what you are eating. And then you'll have an idea as to how much you are eating, how many calories you're consuming. And then that will give you the guideline or the rubric as to like what you need to apply in order to get to point A, from point A to point B. Does that make sense? All right, guys. So like I thought I ate a lot. I was confused as to why I wasn't growing. And so I ate even more, man. I tried to eat as much as I possibly could. And it wasn't a lot of food. I just thought it was. Why? Because I wasn't fucking tracking. Like I just wasn't tracking, you know? And because of that, you know, again, messy action still does count for something. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, if you aren't perfect starting off in your journey, messy action does count for something. Okay, like just getting started is better than not getting started. And I was talking about it, and I continuously talk about it on the podcast, where I'm like, guys, like just because the starting point isn't perfect doesn't mean that like you shouldn't begin. You shouldn't mess up a little bit at first, because God knows that I fucked up and I didn't even know where exactly I was going. But the fact that I started, I was able to do some things, or at least make a millimeter of progress every month, which still did count for something. And because of that, I was able to go from about 130 pounds at the start of high school to about 165 ish, 170 pounds in about 5 years. Okay, so the question is, well, would I have been able to make more progress in that time period had I had more knowledge? Absolutely. I 100% believe that. I might have even turned pro earlier if I had the knowledge earlier. Okay. And the thing here is, I'm not knocking a small amount of progress. Like, I'm not going to discredit myself for making a small amount of progress, and neither should you. However, you should understand that if you are able to progress in general, it's a good thing. You have enough willpower or enough of something to help you get to that place. However, it doesn't mean that that's your limit. It doesn't mean that that's the only amount that you can progress, or that was your best achievement. And I'm going to go on to explain a little bit more about that as I talk about the experience of getting up from 170 pounds, and the extra 30 pounds that I gained in the shorter time period. Okay, guys, from about 19 to about 21, I believe. I was 21 when I hit the peak weight, that I've ever been, and still had muscle on me, lines, abs, whatever you want to call it. And that was due to a coach. And we're going to get into that. Okay. So, like, again, guys, I went from 130 to 170 in about 5 years. And then I stopped growing again. Like, I just sort of hit this ceiling. I hit this plateau. Have you guys ever felt like that before? Like, you're making progress, whether you're burning fat, whether you're building muscle. And then you hit this ceiling, you hit like this roof, and you're like, dude, nothing's changing. No matter what I'm doing, nothing is working. If you've ever felt like that, it's likely that you have a knowledge gap, because you're able to fail forward or take messy action to a certain point up until the point is like you're just not going to get results anymore, which is okay. And it's a natural process. Even when you do have the knowledge, your body still will get to a point where you hit a ceiling, where you hit a plateau, and you have to change things. And see, the key is when you have the knowledge, you know what to change, when to change it immediately so that you continue to progress. However, when you don't, you sort of just stay at this level for a while. And it gets depressing. Sometimes you want to quit. And most people do. Okay. But if you're listening to this, I don't want you to quit, which is why I'm sharing my experience, and you will be able to understand why. Okay. So, again, at this time, when I hit this plateau, I thought to myself, there's nothing I can do right now to grow muscle. There's nothing I can do to change my body. And like guys, I've tried everything. Like I was taking creatine, I was drinking water, I was eating whatever I could fucking find. I was leaving bite marks on the fucking fridge door, or at least so I thought, because I wasn't tracking the food. But I digress. We get that point already, right? So no matter what I did, nothing fucking worked. And that all changed when I hired my first coach. Okay. That's this is where we're going with the episode, because as much as you think someone knows more. And this still applies to me to this day as an IFBB pro. Coaches have coaches. And at this time I wasn't even a coach. At this time I didn't even compete yet. But this was the coach that I met who ended up prepping me for my very first competition at 19 years old. So I met this coach, and he was a retired IFBB pro. I'm not going to name him, okay, because I don't want to do that. And, I was about 19 years old, and at this time, I was working as a security guard and doing personal training as a side hustle, as well as bouncing at the club as a side hustle. And at this time, my coach at the time was charging me about like $500 a month. And I was so serious about changing my body, I didn't even care. Like, I just worked more hours. I said, if this is what I have to do in order to get to where I want to go, I'm going to fucking do it, because I care enough about my goals to do that. Okay. And like, yes, I had bills too, guys. I wasn't poor. I didn't come from a poor family, but I sure as fuck wasn't a privileged teenager, as most of you teenagers are today, listening to this wherever you are. And I'm not, shaming you for having successful parents. I'm just saying, for those of you adults that are thinking, well, this kid was 19, he had no responsibilities, he could fucking pay $500 for a coach. No, the fuck, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. I had bills to pay. I had responsibilities. I've been working, as a matter of fact, since I was 14 years old. So if that's something that you're thinking about, you're like, oh, well, like, this kid, this and that, shut the fuck up, because that's just not true. And also, if you haven't already, check out the Natural Nomad Academy, our Facebook page or our LinkedIn page, or wherever, honestly, our Instagram page. You'll see pinned at the top, we have one of our most impressive athletes. Okay, one of our most impressive athletes. He goes by the name of Ben Pullen. This fucking monster, who ended up competing in the light heavyweight bodybuilding class at his very first regional show and ended up winning, and also placing second in classic physique at his debut regional show that we coached him for. Okay, he was 18 years old, and we prepped him for about 8 to 10 months, around there, between that window. Okay, and I'm just going to be vulnerable here, guys. He's an elite, and in our elite VIP package, it's $565 a month. I never talk about prices, but today I'm going to, so you get the perspective as to, like, no matter where you are, who you are, however fucked up you think you are, people that are in a right position mentally will make it happen. This kid was working 12 to 16 hours of hard labor. He's from Alberta every single fucking day, while training super hard, doing his cardio. And he wasn't all the way perfect. He would miss some meals, and he would, miss some cardio or a training session, but he would always make up for it. Why? Because he had that mentality. And this kid was younger than I was when I started, and my program was almost double the price than the program I paid for when I was his age, which goes to show you the level of tenacity and determination that you can actually achieve and experience at a young age. And guys, he's not, I would assume that he's, he doesn't come from a poor background. I know he doesn't, but at the same time, he has responsibilities. He doesn't just sit there. He has bills to pay as well. So if you guys are sitting here thinking, well, I can't afford to do this, I can't afford to do that, I understand that it might be true, but that doesn't mean you can't figure out a way to get it done. Okay, but enough about that. I was just giving you guys some perspective as to, like, how serious shit can get. And if you are serious, that those serious issues don't really matter. Like, you can always work around them. Anyway, growing muscle and having the body of my dreams meant fucking everything to me, just like how it meant to Ben, and which is why he ended up being so successful in our program. Okay, and this was a journey that involved way more than just dumbbells and plates. 100%. Like, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I hated, as I told you at the beginning or at the middle of this episode, like, I hated the way that clothes fit on me. How weak I felt, and mentally how that affected me when I'd go out, when I'd be around girls, when I'd like just exist. It just, call me shallow, but it fucking bothered me. Similar to you guys that are overweight, you don't like the way your clothes fit. Similar to you guys that are underweight, that are skinny, you don't like the way your clothes fit. I was the exact same way. Okay? And guys, like, I struggled with adding size to my body, to my frame for the first few years of my journey because, and I'm going to tell you this, if you were listening to the Meathead on the Mic podcast earlier on this week, you heard me talking about just because it's true doesn't mean you should lean into it. Like, your excuses are true, but you shouldn't lean into them just because, they're true, especially if they're negative, because that's just not going to help you. Like, it's true that your kids keep you busy. It's true that you're tired as fuck after work and it's hard to go to the gym. It's true that, it takes time and a little bit of effort to get you used to meal prepping so that you don't have to opt for what's convenient all the time. Like, these things are all true, but leaning into that kind of truth doesn't fucking serve you. It doesn't help you get closer to your goals. So just ignore that. And to shine some light on that episode, I'm going to tell you guys that I myself thought it was too hard for me to eat 5+ meals every single day and make sure that they were tracked so that I could grow. I too thought it was too hard for me to drink 4 liters or more of water every single day while taking creatine so that I can maximize my benefits. I too was using the same, training program for over 5 years and going, fuck, like, this is not working for me anymore. But I still thought I was going to get gains because what was true in the past was I made some gains. So I just stuck with that. I made gains in the past, which means I'll make gains in the future, which isn't exactly the truth. Okay, guys, I too was battling some internal adversity quietly, with whatever was going on in my life. There were so many things, whether it was relationships, family stuff, and it was true that I was dealing with these things and that it was affecting me. It was also true that I was unmotivated and feeling like I was a waste of life at this point in time of my life. And because of that, I didn't even know how to start changing my life. It literally became too fucking hard to focus at times. Like, these things were all true. And they could have very easily been the reason why I didn't. But because I needed help and I reached out and I asked for help from a coach and I received the knowledge and the expertise that I so desperately needed, instead of not doing it, I did do it. I did go to the gym. I was able to focus. I was able to be consistent. And now look at us. Right? That was in around 2017. So 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3. We're almost 5-6 years later. I own a fucking successful company. I'm an IFBB pro. I get to do whatever I want, whenever I want. Because I reached out for help, guys. Like, I needed help and I received it from not only, my previous coach when it came to helping me align my body, but also from my mentors, my business mentors that I ended up hiring right before COVID started. I think I hired them around December 2019 or January 2020, one or the other. It's been 3 years. Okay. And my family and my friends, they were supporting me. Okay. So some support you're going to get from, to help you get towards your goals, guys, is going to be just stuff from at home. You know what I mean? Like, you got friends, you got family, you got your ride or dies. And that's the free stuff. But some shit, guys, you have to pay to play. Like, if you truly want to see true results and minimize the time that you see those results and get the knowledge from like a professional, you're going to have to pay to play. Just like I did. Like, I'm not better than you. I am not better than you. And I will tell you that a billion times. I'm not better than you. The only difference between us is that I learned how to ask for help and I wasn't afraid to pay to play. And because of that, I was able to crunch time so fucking much that I learned all that I possibly could and worked as hard as I possibly fucking could. And I turned pro naturally without steroids at the age of 23 years old. There are guys that die competing as an amateur, taking steroids. They never turn pro. And I was able to do it at the age of 23 years old without steroids because I was able to take advantage of the opportunities, capitalize on new outlets of the competition so that I can actually compete in the natural stream within the amateur ranks of the Canadian Physique Alliance that would help me graduate into becoming an IFBB pro without steroids. I did all the research I possibly could when it came to nutrition, competition, when it came to posing, everything, guys. I paid posing coaches. I paid to play. And then I also had my backbone, my support being those that fucking believed in me. You guys as well. You guys supporting my posts since I've been posting a year before I even competed at 2016, during 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, all these years, man. So honestly, fucking thank you guys. When I say that I wouldn't be able to do this without you, I fucking mean that from the top, middle, and bottom of my heart. Because outside of the support that I had to invest in when I was investing in myself, I had your guys' support for free. And that helped me believe in myself when it was too hard to focus. It helped me believe in myself when I thought I wasn't able to do the thing, when I thought that my dreams were just too fucking big. Okay. And like, guys, you guys never quit on me, and my mentors and my coaches never quit on me. And so, because of that, I never quit on myself. Like, that's the importance of hiring a coach and just having support in general, guys. Like, I didn't want to let anybody down as much as I didn't want to let myself down. And as much as I look quote unquote self-made, I'm fucking not. And I'll scream that from the rooftops. I'm not self-made. And I don't believe anybody is. Anybody successful, at least. Okay? Like, I am the product of your support. I am the product of the knowledge of my coaches. I am the product of the energy from my mentors over the years. And having a team by my side made my willpower grow exponentially. Like, and I didn't want to let anyone down, as I said. Like, of course, I wanted to succeed. My success was important to me, which is why everything even started. That was the seed that was planted. But the roots that grew thousands and thousands of kilometers under the ground and miles under the ground that ended up helping me grow into this tree that's continuously growing was the fact that I had a support system and I didn't want to let anyone down. I didn't want to let myself down. Okay, and this taught me truly how to be consistent, because I wasn't just playing for me. I was playing for, first of all, I'm investing money. Okay, I'm putting some fucking skin in the game. And so I want to know that I'm not wasting shit. So I'm putting my blood, sweat, and fucking tears on the line, eh? Like, when I'm training, I'm training. When I'm eating sharp, I'm eating sharp down to the last fucking gram. Best believe it. When I'm studying in my mentorship academy, I'm going hard. Like, I want to learn, I want to implement, I want to be able to grow my business. You know, because I've got some skin in the game. And most of the reason why a lot of you guys don't succeed is because you have no skin in the game. Like, you just show up and expect shit to like fall on your lap. You're not willing to invest in yourself. You're not willing to take the fucking next step, to take that leap in order to help yourself get to that level that you want to be at so fucking desperately. Whether it's you want to burn fat, whether it's you want to build muscle, it doesn't fucking matter. Having a team by your side is the number one thing that I personally benefited from and took value from in my journey. All right, like, guys, like, this is, if you ever look at those people that are like, yo, how do you never miss? Like, well, how are you so fucking consistent, dude? Like, how, like, what's going on here, bro? Like, what's the secret sauce? The secret sauce is that I'm not doing this alone. The secret sauce is that, and pun intended, because, we don't take sauce, we're doing this naturally. The secret sauce here is like, I'm not the only one that cares about my journey. I got other people in the back pushing for me too. Like, they fucking count and they make me matter. You understand? Does that make sense? And like, because of my coach's support, my mentor support, my family support, my friends support, I was able to push past all obstacles, all doubts, and all hesitations, procrastinations, whatever it is, you name it. And because of that, I began growing even more rapidly than ever, naturally. And guys, this sounds kind of funny because I know you're here, you're thinking, well, like, dude, tell me what you ate. Tell me the macronutrients, the calories, the this, the that. Give me the specifics so that I can take this away and put it in my life. First things first, guys, you don't have my genetics. So even if you did eat every single thing that I ate and trained the exact same way that I trained, lifted the exact same weight, the exact same reps, RIE, RIR, RPE, everything, it wouldn't work the same. And number two, guys, even if you did have all the information, what's to say you're going to fucking do anything about it? Because you don't believe in yourself. You're not even going to show up as consistently as I did to apply that information for all the years that I did. Like, this shit takes time. It took me over a decade to get to this position of making mistakes, of grinding, of hitting up competitions, challenging myself, facing my fear, quitting, man. I quit several times along the way. Y'all don't want to hear about that, but it's true. I'm a human being. As I said, I'm not better than you guys. Okay. And like, guys, like the number one thing that helped me get to this position, it wasn't the fancy macros, the calories and the supplements. Like those things do count. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that, oh, because I believed in myself, I got here and like it was just self-belief. Like, no, but self-belief is way more important when it comes to the application of anything that you're going to learn over a long period of time. Because if you don't believe in yourself, then you're not going to do it. Like deep down, it's going to be too hard to be consistent because you don't believe that it's possible. It's just true. Anything that requires a high level of success in life requires a disgusting amount of self-belief, like almost an arrogant level of self-belief. And I'm saying this with experience. And when I look at the people that I want to be like, it's the same thing. I can see that it exists. There's like a certain level of hunger, and that hunger is bred from this mentality of, I fucking believe in myself. I know I can do this, and I'm the greatest. And that's why I'm going to do this. And yes, some people might call it egotistical. Yes, some people might call it narcissistic, but to achieve anything great in this life, man, you gotta have some fire, man. And no matter what I tell you, no matter what information I give you about nutrition and supplements, if you don't have that fire, you're wasting your time. You're just wasting your time. Okay. And the way to develop that fire is to either invest and pay to play, or you have your family behind you burning your ass, keeping that fire under your ass, your friends, your supportive friends, pushing you. And personally, I believe the best is the best of both worlds when you have both, because then you really can't fuck up. You must be consistent because everything's on the line. Okay. And guys, I'm telling you this because this is exactly what helped push me to the position that I'm in today. It's not just about the macros. It's not just about the fancy science behind building muscle. Because I can give you it's like when I was starting out my journey at the start of this episode, I was talking about my Arnold Encyclopedia, the Bible of bodybuilding. I had that knowledge, but I didn't fucking do anything. I just sort of skimmed through it and scanned through it and looked at pictures and like, oh, I like these pictures. I want Flex Wheeler's arms with Kevin Levroni's triceps and Arnold's chest and Ronnie's back and glutes. And I was just like playing caricatures in my head with like a vision, but I didn't actually do anything with it. Like there was also knowledge in that book, but I didn't even read it because I kind of just didn't believe in myself at the time. Mentally, I wasn't in the position to apply what I was learning. Just like you might not be in the position to apply what you're learning from this episode, guys. Okay? Having that support system, having that plethora of knowledge that was constantly updating and being pushed towards me through all of the coaches and mentors I've had through the years, as well as my support system at home and, just within my friends platonically and some relationships that I was even in, like that helped me push to the level that I'm at today as an IFBB pro. And guys, I'm going to remind you, it took me over a fucking decade to build what I've built. And I'm still growing. I'm still changing my life, and I'm still helping others do the same. And I'm doing that not only because I love coaching or not only because I have a passion for the gym. Believe me, I got a passion for the gym. They used to call me the unexterminatable gym rat. I would be in the gym from 12 to 12 a.m. Period. 24 fucking hours. When I had nowhere to go, when I was a fucking shithead, delinquent teenager, I would literally just stay in the gym, go out, grab a bite to eat, come back, and just honestly chill there. Even if I wasn't working out, I would just bother the front desk staff because I didn't want to be anywhere else. Like, I got a passion for the gym. You take away everything from my life, leave me at the gym, I'm cool. Right? But I'm not only doing this because I love coaching. I'm not only doing this because I'm a huge fan and a practitioner of bodybuilding, but I also do this because I love, feeling like, and you probably love this too. Like, I love feeling success after struggling for so long. Like I love, it's just such a high payout when you've been struggling for something for so long. You didn't believe in yourself. It seemed impossible. And then you do it. And then that wave of euphoria, it's happened to me every single time that I've competed. I remember what the fuck it feels like. And it's something that I wish you guys experience in your life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember what it felt like to just conquer my goals. And there's nothing I can really do to put it into words. Like, I just feel my heart racing right now because that feeling is something that I want you guys to experience. It's why we do the Meathead on the Mic podcast. It's why I give away so much fucking free information. It's why I try my best to motivate you guys, to teach you discipline so that you can experience your own level of success within your fitness journey and maybe even in your life, because these lessons do transfer to everything else. It's not just about fitness. They transfer to your relationships. They transfer to your business, your work, whatever it is that you do. All right? Like, I remember what the fuck it feels like to win after struggling and losing for so fucking long. You know, and like, if I could make you feel 1% of the way that I feel or felt in my journey, or if I can make you feel 1% of the way that it felt to me when I, became a 2-time national champion, or whenever I won a regional show, if I could make you feel 1% of the way it felt when I won my IFBB Pro card and I fell to my knees and I fucking bursted out in tears, I'd die happy, man. And that's just the truth. That's why I do what the fuck I do. Like, I personally want to give back and be the person that makes you not want to quit. It's more than a body change, whether you want to build muscle or burn fat. It's a lifestyle and a mindset change as well. And like, the truth is, you must be prepared to work on yourself from the bottom up, inside and out. And it's very, very, very difficult to do that on your own. I don't even think Arnold Schwarzenegger did it on his own. Nobody is self-made, okay? And these goals are daunting, they're challenging, they're huge, but they're not impossible. If you can muster up the courage and ask for help, okay? Always remember, it's worth the sacrifice, and it all does work out at the end. Put your pride aside and reach out for help, because that's where you will end up developing the skills to not only help you succeed, but to keep you in a state of momentum so you continuously succeed and aim higher and succeed even more. Make sense? I hope it does. All right. That's it. That's all. If you like this episode, share it out with a friend. Don't forget to like, share, and comment on this podcast, or leave a review to show your support. It really does go a long way. Again, guys, without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. And I just really hope I was able to deliver a valuable experience to you guys and girls today. Thank you so much for your precious time and attention. Also, if you want to permanently lose 20 pounds or more while eating clean 80% of the time, and fucking around, screwing around on some junk food on the weekends, 20% of the time, going on dates, game nights with the family or boys, whatever it is, and you want to make these results, keep these results without steroids, you might want to be a part of the Natural Nomad Academy, where I'll be your head coach. IFBB Pro Matt Butale. You know what time it is. Feel free to DM me, and I'll see if you'll be a good fit. Let's embrace your inner meathead together. It's been nice chatting. Hope you like what today's topic was about. IFBB Pro Matt Butale signing out. Boom. All right, guys. Podcast episode's recorded. This was a long one today. I think we're almost at 40 minutes, but had a lot on my chest. I was aiming to make this shit like 20 minutes, but I just decided to over-deliver because you guys deserve that and more for supporting me. And like, I'll give whatever I can, man. Like, when I say that, I mean it. I will give whatever I can to help you out. All right. So that's it. That's all. If you have any DMs, any questions for the more practical side of how I actually gained 80 pounds of muscle, or you want to just like learn a little bit more about anything else, guys, we're at episode 229 today. So go scan through all the other episodes. We have 229 other episodes where you can learn a fuck ton about nutrition, mindset, training, so on and so forth, competitions, all that good stuff. So guys, I really do appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Hope you guys and girls have a sick-ass, kick-ass Friday and a spectacular weekend. We'll be back again next week with another episode of the Meathead of the Mic podcast. Until then, we out.